Oh god, I just finished combing through the live stream once again, and I can only say finally, after almost 4 years of playing this game, we're finally getting some meaningful changes to the quality of life of this game and a buttload of other new stuff to look forward to. But first, let's talk about the patch real quick. So, Genshin Impact version 5.0 is coming in just 2 weeks, and the live stream gave us so many new things to look forward to, including big changes that I think longtime Genshin players like myself will be extremely happy to see. So, let's go through all those new additions and changes real quick. First order of business is of course Natlan and its new characters. Just like all the new patch numbers, the new regional expansion is coming and it looks pretty spicy. We got a trailer of what seems to be going down in the nation of Pyro, and we also got a lot of teasers regarding both Natlan characters and other special appearances. Most enticing for a lot of you out there would probably be Capitano's appearance and him literally throwing hands with Mavuika. Sorry, Columbina enjoyers, you're gonna have to wait a tad bit longer. We also got a teaser of what the first chapter of Natlan's Arc Conquest will be revolving around, and it looks like it has a lot to do with maintaining a sacred fire that basically prevents the Abyss from invading Natlan, so it'll be cool to see what we and the rest of the crew can do to get that shit under control. Now of course, Natlan characters will soon join the roster of playable characters as well. The first 3 we have coming up is Kachina, a 4-star Geo character, and then we have Moalani, who is 5-star Hydro, and then Kinich, who is a 5-star Dendro character. I won't talk about the combat aspect of their kits too much, but a rather unique element that is being built into their skills is the fact that the non-combat side of their elemental skills are going to be geared around making terrain exploration that much easier to go through. Kachina summons this drill called the Turbo Twirly, which she can then ride and use to not only move around faster, but also to scale up walls, as you might have seen in teasers or trailers before. Moalani, on the other hand, summons a shark and allows you to zoom around on water surfaces, and by the looks of it, you can also use it on land, but it seems like it depletes the skill stamina much faster compared to when you use it on water. Kinich, on the other hand, basically takes those flower Tarzan things that you have in Sumeru and pretty much has that as part of his elemental skill. So now you can be Spider-Man anywhere you want. There is also a Natlan exclusive mechanic that is named Night Soul's Blessing. This is essentially Natlan's version of the Numa and Osea mechanic that Fontaine has, only it looks like you have to do some sort of trial with these kinds of tribal leaders of specific Natlan tribes called the Wayobs. Sorry if I butchered that. Going through a ritual called Phlogiston Engraving, which allows you to obtain this sort of rainbowish color-themed glow around your Natlan characters. What exactly are the types of buffs you can get through activating this state was not really explained during the live stream, so I guess we'll just have to see what the effects are once we get to experience it in-game. The devs are also including some environment test runs for us to experience these new mechanics, so if you're worried about getting overwhelmed, they've got your asses covered. Another aspect of Natlan exploration mechanic that focuses on the use of this phlogiston element is the potential to use the local Saurian fauna to help our team explore the terrain. Each tribes have their own special Saurians that they've befriended, and they all specialize in differing aspects of exploration. The Tepetlisaurs, who are close to the children of Echo's tribe, specialize in moving fast underground and scaling mountains, while also having a thing where they can help mining. Don't know if that means they can help us gather stuff, but hey, wishful thinking ain't a problem, right? And then there are the Koholasaurus, who live alongside the people of the Springs tribe. These guys can literally swim through lava, or as they call it in Natlan, liquid phlogiston. And the last but not least, we got the Yumkasaurus, which lives alongside the Scions of the Canopy. They are essentially the ones who can use Natlan's literal version of the Sumeru Spider-Man thingy, and they also have this mechanic that allows them to eat these fruit-looking things and then just bombard enemies with it. So, congrats! Y'all got a pet that can rap as a cannon as well. And if you choose not to pull for Kinich, well, you've got some sweet alternatives for exploration, so you shouldn't miss out too much on that Natlan experience. Speaking of pulling, these are the character banners that will be coming up for version 5.0. The first phase will feature Moalani and Kachina, while Kazuha is the rerun character. While the second phase will have Kinich running alongside the Electro Queen herself, Raiden Shogun. So make your decisions quickly, ladies and gents, cause I get a feeling that some of you are molding at the timings of these reruns. Not to forget the other Natlan characters, however, the developers also mentioned that there are quite a cast of appearances to follow suit other than the 3 that are releasing with these phases of banners. Chaska, basically early concept design Cloran, will be making an appearance in the Archon quest. So is Yansan, the first Natlan character we saw on that super ancient Travalis trailer almost 4 years ago. She's finally going to be here and she'll be going in alongside our crew, and of course, Mavuika is going to make her own appearance. My ass can't wait for her to square up against Capitano, and considering the fact that he is the Fatui Harbinger's #1 big boy, then we'll just have to expect that his clash with the Archon of War herself will be able to give us some insane action and battle cinematics. Now we're going to move on to the big gameplay and quality of life changes that they are finally going to implement after almost 4 years of patiently waiting for a lot of this to take its form in the game. And goddamn, I can almost sweep at the sight of all of these announcements. So first up is rewards from Archon Quest. You can get a total of 500 primos from each Archon Quest chapters from here on out, which is great. More primos, never gonna complain. We're also getting the usual anniversary reward, so more yays on top of that. Another thing they added to the character story quest, or Tribal Chronicles as it's apparently going to be referred to as for Natlan characters, is the fact that it will give rewards of not only some primos, but also enough materials for you to get that story quest character up to level 60. Just by doing their story quest, which I think will be of great help to people who are just starting out and has not gone far enough in the story to reach Natlan or its story or the respective region of which that character comes from. But even that won't be an issue because they've issued a quick start feature for the Archon quest as well, so once you've reached AR level 28, you'll be able to gain access to these quests without having to get to the respective regions in the first place. Stellar Reunion rewards have also been given a bit of a change, and top-up resets will of course come into play as per usual with these new patch numbers. Now, these are the big quality of life changes that I've personally been waiting and asking for so long. And the first one is the material gathering system. The amount of time we've spent endlessly tabbing in and out between Genshin to the interactive map on the browser will be a time that I won't miss for shit. And now, we have no need to use the interactive map for farming, because we can now see plants and other overworld resources just straight out from the game itself. Just click on this Found in the Wild option in your chosen items like HUD, and it will now show their locations on the map. It even tells you how much of it you have left on the overworld, and I can just hear future me breathing a big dick sigh of relief now that this feature is here. Another thing to heave a sigh of relief for is the new World Level 9 Ascension option. With this, we can now guarantee the drops that we get from world bosses, so no more having to pray that RNG will give you 3 of those boss drops instead of just the 2. They are also going to increase the monster drops that we get from killing normal and elite overworld enemies. And on top of that, they are also optimizing the drop rates for a lot of the materials that have all been insane nightmares for us to farm. You know what I'm talking about. Finally, those guys will be dropping mats like normal monsters instead of being stingier than a broke hermit grandma. So with the World Level 9 drop improvements and the general mob drop optimization, we should be able to farm them much more effectively once version 5.0 comes out. The next big quality of life changes is the fact that we're finally getting some optimization regarding the management of our artifacts. Number 1, we can finally salvage our artifacts and turn them into EXP bottles instead of having mountains of 4 and 3 stars clogging up our artifact space. The second part, which I think is the more important part, is the addition of the Artifact Transmuter, which uses sanctifying elixirs, which you can get from salvaging upgraded artifacts, exploring the world, anniversary rewards, or even getting them from the battle pass, and then making an artifact in which you can choose both the main stat, and this is the big one, you can also choose 2 of the substats, which is pretty big in my opinion. Of course, there seems to be a lot of limitations over how much of these you can actually get and do per patch cycle, but at the very least we finally have something that can help us cope with that artifact farming depression. They are also making changes to the battle pass rewards and making it so that we can more freely choose the options of what we want to get from level rewards, and we can also now choose from all types of regional talent mats so we don't get stuck with the 2 that we may or may not need. You can also now increase your stamina count through any Statue of the 7 upgrades instead of only being able to get them from the ones that are in Mondstadt or Liyue. And finally, we get to the changes that are coming into the gacha banners. And I'll start with the one that doesn't really seem to be all that major, which is this capturing radiance thing that they now put on the limited banners. Apparently, all it does is that if this effect shows up when you pull a 5-star, it increases the chances of it being the limited 5-star, but that's all there is to it. It doesn't guarantee it being the promotional 5-star. So honestly, you can now instead feel worse when you get this effect and still lose the 50-50, because that just means your luck was actually down in the dumps. But now, of course, that's not the big gacha change that I was talking about. And that will be the fact that they finally, after 4 years of suffering on this stupid dogshit weapon banner, they finally reduced the fate points required to guarantee you getting your choice of weapon pull to just 1. Oh my god. The relief I felt when they showed this in the live stream. It doesn't seem like they've changed the rates, however, it's still a 50-50 unlike the 75-25 we see in Star Rail, which I guess makes sense because unlike Star Rail, weapons here are actually a lot more interchangeable to use between different characters, so I guess it's a bit more valuable that way. But God, I don't give a shit at this point. I'm just happy that pulling on the weapon banner won't be such a depressing notion from here on out, and I can now actually confidently save up for weapons as well instead of just thinking about characters. The last change that they are implementing in relation to the gacha banners is the anniversary rewards. First of all, goddamn, I've been saying this to all my friends for the past couple of months, particularly because we are approaching yet another Genshin anniversary, and I just kept on repeating the fact that they should give us a free 5-star selector. I don't care whether or not it was for standard only characters, we just need one to be an option, because literally every other gacha that I'm playing at the moment have either done that before or had at least made it a big part of their anniversary reward list. And guess what? They finally made it a reality. We're finally getting our free 5-star as an anniversary reward, and this will be the trend going forth into the other anniversaries that we're having into the future. Of course, some of you might be iffy at the fact that only standard banner characters are available from this option, and while I can understand the grievances since there are now 43 available 5-stars to choose from, maybe they could have considered making it for limited characters as well, but that's besides the point. We at least have this now as an actual thing, and I'm glad that they are actually finally listening to what the players truly want all these years. And yeah, sure, it might have taken them 4 years, but damn, it's better late than never. Considering the fact that they've now said that Genshin's journey is still long and arduous, I'm willing to bet that they've actually revamped their plans into making this game last far longer than what it was planned out to be. So I can only be excited to see the trajectory in which they are finally rejuvenating the essence of the game itself, and I hope that they keep this up going into the future. Other changes coming in 5.0 will be adjustments to Imaginarium Theater and its boons, and there are new characters and monsters in Femine, Zhen Yun, and the Hydrohelytral Rogue who will be joining the Genius Invocation TCG roster. So for all you card fighters out there, enjoy! And that's it! Oh crap! This version sounds to not only be an exciting new expansion, but it is also looking like a version that can spell for much greater things going into the future of the game. We're finally getting big quality of life changes, and it seems like Genshin team is finally starting to understand that primos and free stuff, man, we cannot get enough of it. If you like the video, please do leave a thumbs up, and if you have some thoughts of your own to share, then feel free to also leave it all in the comments down below. Until the next video, my name's Leafy, and I'll see you all next time. Sayonara.